Today's episode includes Hall of Famer Rick Barry and new Zombies guard CJ Seaforth. CJ recently finished up his college career at Southern Connecticut State University after playing his first season at Iona College. CJ scored over 1,000 points in his college career, and he played 3 years at Southern Connecticut for Coach Scott Burrell. If you don't remember Scott Burrell, he was the backup point guard in The Last Dance with Michael Jordan and got his last ring with him. CJ averaged 14 points per game, shot 38% from three and 40% from the free throw line, 80% from the free throw line. CJ was the Northeast 10 weekly player honor roll selection 5 times. He's a high IQ guard, a top defender, and leader. So, Rick, what would you give advice to? What advice would you give CJ as a newcomer to the Zombies?
Well, first of all, I'm just glad you corrected because I almost wanted to go ahead and leave when you told me he was shooting 40% from the free throw line.
I read the three. I read the 3-point stat over.
I would have said my advice to you is go out and practice your free throws, but 80% is good. So if you shoot 80%, you're a good free throw shooter. If you don't shoot 80%, you're not a good free throw shooter.
He's 40 from three, 40% from three, which is top notch.
No, 40% from threes is well, it's good, but that's college. So college 40% from threes. If you do that on the pro level, then you're really doing something because the college line, when they first put it, I remember visiting my son Scooter out in Kansas, and I went out and shot around, and I'm saying, this is the 3-point shot. This is like a normal shot. And then they moved it back some. But when you start getting up to the NBA, anybody that's shooting if you shoot 40% from 3-point range, that's great shooting. I mean, your goal should be from the NBA line, it's 30%. If I'm coaching, if you couldn't shoot 30%, you took a shot during the course of the game, unless the clock was running out, you'd be sitting next to me on the bench because you have no business shooting the ball if you're shooting in the 20s from 3-point range. And 33 that's comparable to 50 from twos. And so you get up to 40, that's some really great shooting. And my recommendation, though, would be to basically just, play your game. I mean, do what the coach asked you to do. I mean, if you're the point guard, my thing is, you can score if you have to, but try to get everybody involved. Try to be the floor leader. Put the ball in the hands of the guy that's going good. See how the other team is playing. If they've got a weakness and they're not really good at something, just ram it down their throat and just keep running it at them all the time. You'll score when the opportunity is there. But I'm not a big fan of the scoring point guard. I'm more of a fan of the distributing point guard who can score. My ideal guy, like I love watching play, is I love Steve Nash when he was playing, because Steve Nash would rather get 15 or more assists, but if you needed 30 points, he can get you 30 points. And Absolutely. If there was one Achilles heel, I think for John Stockton, I love John Stockton, would have loved to play with John Stockton, but I think John needed to be more aggressive offensively. I think he needed to score more at times, and he didn't do that. And he was a good shooter. And so the point guard has to understand the flow of the game, and you have to give your team what you need. If you're struggling and you can get to the hoop and you can score, or you can take a shot and knock it down. If you're struggling some, you need to do that. You need to do what's necessary. And if things are going good, distribute it. You know as well as I do, anyways, Jay, every player loves to be able to score a basket. I mean, to get an easy 2 points. And your job is to try to create those opportunities for him. So that and just play good, solid defense. Because, see, it's all this talk when they talk about, oh, he's a great defender. Bullshit. I don't care how good a defender you are. If you're not a great team defender, your team's going to get beat a lot because you're not going to lock anybody down. Trust me, when I hear that word lockdown defender, I talk about this all the time. There's no such thing as a lockdown defender against a scorer. You can't lock down a scorer. You can lock down a shooter, but not a scorer. He's got too many ways to beat you. So just go out and play good defense, but mainly good team defense, and rally your team around to make the commitment to being a good team, defensive team. Don't allow the other team to get easy shots. Make sure you talk. Make sure you switch out on the 3-point shooters. Don't give them set open looks. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So, I mean, what do you think is the strongest part of your game, CJ?
Probably leadership. I try to be a leader, like you said. Definitely try to get my team involved. Exactly, probably like you said, just can score, can pass, can play defense. But like you said, I'll probably definitely number one would probably be get my team involved. I have some good players around me, big players that I know that can score easy around the hoop. So use my ability just to create for them, basically. And then when I'm open, get my shots in. And yeah, that probably would be best opportunity going
Yeah, well,
for the
just stay
game
on your
Sunday.
team. I don't know whoever the team captain's going to be this year if they vote somebody in, but the whole key is for everybody to be on that same page, team defensive wise. I mean, it used to be that you wanted to stop the easy transition, especially as a guard. You got to be back on defense. You got to help out so the other team doesn't get a bunch of easy layups and fast in transition. And then you
Yes,
want to
sir.
try to control your defensive board so you don't give them second and third chance opportunities. And the third thing used to be when I played, it was make the other team beat you from the perimeter. Well, that's changed right now. So you never
Yeah,
wanted to let them get to the basket. You wanted to make them beat you from the outside. Well, now with the 3-point shot, that's not a great philosophy because a good 3-point shooting team will kick your butt. And it's like the Warriors changed all of that a few years ago when they had, the big three, when they had Steph and Clay and Kevin Durant. I mean, that was ridiculous. And not
yeah,
only could they beat you from the perimeter, they can embarrass you from the perimeter. So, and just make sure that the team is staying up on that. I wish Brian was here because I know they got the game coming up, but my God, if you got another team and they have 3-point shooters, you should never be leaving your 3-point shooter to stop penetration to the basket. Hope that your big guys can do a good job to help. Worst case scenario, they get a 2, but you can't give good 3-point shooters wide open set shots from 3-point range because
absolutely.
most games now, well, watch the score, but just look at the box scores in the NBA. The team that outscores the other team from 3-point range wins a very high percentage of the games. It's such a
Definitely. I
critical
agree.
factor.
It
I
is.
agree.
3-point shooting is really important. CJ, I got a question for you.
Yes.
Coach Burrell was quite the shooter in his day. Did you ever have a shooting contest against your coach?
Of course, of course. Plenty times. He never beat me. That's what I would say. But he doesn't really shoot the ball as much as he used to in practice and things. He'll
Mhm.
fool around with us sometimes and shoot it. But I always wanted to battle him for shooting. Especially when he told me he was in the 3-point contest one of
Yeah.
his years. So yeah, I always fool around with him, trying to shoot with him and stuff. But he gave me some great like good details about just shooting the ball and stuff like that. So I definitely appreciate him.
Oh yeah. Scott Burrell comes. I mean, he went to UConn too. Just another great UConn guard you could throw on the all-time list. Man.
Absolutely. He's a
CJ,
legend.
who are some of the guys now? Who were now finally made the team? Because you guys are going to finally get to start the season and play. So I don't even know who's made the team. I hadn't had a chance. I was out all day today doing stuff. I just got back from playing pickleball actually, and just wanted to wondering who made the team. Who are your teammates? What do you think about your guys' chances?
Yeah, I have high. I think we're gonna do very well. Because I know a lot of players played overseas, played a lot of college ball, played a lot of AAU with me. I'm very well with Karan Iverson. We played in a lot of leagues in the summer and things like that. And then another one, our Cal, he just got on the team. Coaches announced that not too long ago. Me and him played AAU together, so we have a connection already.
Okay.
And then I met the other the big men that we have.
Do.
The two big men we have, they're really good around the rim. So I think we're gonna do good, and we have a lot of guards too, including me, Derek. So I think we're gonna do well.
Derek
All right,
Myers.
Cam.
Is that
Um,
Derek Myers? Because we had two Dereks last year. I haven't been
he
able to
played on the
come to
team
the.
last year.
Okay, yeah, it's Derek Myers. Because we had a Derek Boyd as well, but I think it's Derek Myers returning with us.
Yes, I think so too.
Okay, so
Well,
what?
you've got it's Derek Myers, who's 6'2" guard.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just looking at the thing here. I'm just looking at some of the players. I see that you've got Karan is back playing,
We have
and
three former G Leaguers this year on the team. It's Karan Iverson, Ty Flowers, and Taquan Zimmerman, otherwise known as Tootie. Tootie
Oh,
Zimmerman.
yep, Tootie too. I forgot about him. He's a shooter, very good shooter.
Tootie's a real
Uh,
deal.
yeah, he's a really good shooter. I heard about him.
Hmm.
Definitely trying to work out. He works out kids and stuff like that, but probably get in the gym with him and shoot. Yeah, that's my goal for sure.
Definitely.
yeah, well,
And
you got some size. I mean, you got 4 guys that are got 5 guys that are size. You got six, well, no, 4 guys, 6'10", 6'9", 6'10".
Yeah, we
So
got some height. Definitely got
yeah,
some
you
height.
got 3 6'10" players. So yeah, you got some height.
yeah,
So you can. not get crushed there, but it's not necessarily. I mean, hell, you watch an NBA game. Sometimes you're out there, and hell, you don't even see a real center out on the court. Sometimes
Yeah.
they're
Absolutely,
playing
yeah.
five out, and everybody's shooting 3-point shots.
Well, hey, it's March 1st. I would be remiss if I didn't bring up something March Madness related. So, freshman year at Iona, CJ played against Duke, and the team was Grayson Allen, Gary Trent Jr., Marvin Bagley, Wendell Carter, and Trayvon Duval. I remember watching that team. How did you feel matching up against them last game of the season?
It was an honor. It was definitely an honor. And it might sound bad, but Duke was one of my favorite teams growing up. I always loved Duke. And then I got to play them in March Madness as a freshman. It was a great experience. It was a great experience. Those dudes are the real deal. I got to see it live with my eyes. And I got to meet Coach K. I got to talk to Coach K for about
Wow.
10 seconds. I would say 10 seconds. And it was a great moment. I didn't play as well. I didn't play as well, like a lot. I got in at the end of the game. I did score, but I was definitely trying to do more, help my team out. But they played like a 2-3 zone. I was one of the top shooters. Coach didn't really want me in the game, I guess, because I was a freshman. I guess I had to just suck it up. But it was a great opportunity. The March Madness was amazing. And it was just great to be a part of.
And I also peeped that you played against St. John's, which had Shamari Pons, who those 2 years where Shamari was the starting point guard, he was cooking up. They didn't even have like a big man either. I think their whole lineup was 6'5" or shorter.
Right.
LJ Figueroa might have been their center, and he
Yep.
plays in the G League now for the Lakers. That team was just so fun to watch. And then I also seen you played against URI, but you missed Karan by 1 year. You would have played
Yeah.
against your teammate.
Yeah, that would have been cool for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, St. John's was a great team. Great team. We went to Madison Square Garden. That was a great experience as well. That team was really good. St. John's, they were really fast. They can shoot. They're drivers. So that was a good team. And URI was definitely a good experience too. My dad used to go up there going to camps there and things like that. And then he gets to see me on the floor. We did lose that game, but I think we battled hard.
Yeah, man, I thought Jared Terrell was going to be an NBA star. I loved him
Me
in
too.
college. I went to
Me too.
UMass, and I used to see Jared Terrell like 3 times a season, and I was like, this dude's legit. Like, I didn't know who could stop him.
Yeah, he's a real good player. I had to guard him a couple possessions. He's a really good player. I just try to when I was guarding him, I just try to let him shoot the three ball. Try not to give him no lane, give him the lane and things like that. But it was just a great experience. I follow him on Instagram. He follows me. But yeah, I know a lot of these dudes, man. So it's just a good experience to just battle it out on the floor.
Basketball is all about connections. Every time I watch a basketball in Rick's era, they always ask Rick for his input because I think he's like an anthology of basketball history.
Definitely.
And I was watching the NBA 75 highlights, and every week or so they come out with a new player that they want to highlight. This time I watched Bill Walton, and who do you think was there talking about his skill and his fused ankles? Rick Barry.
Rick.
So through 70,
Bill would have been unbelievable if Bill hadn't had those issues. He was probably had some of the greatest timing of anybody. Great shooter from mid range, from the top of the key in. Tremendous passer, but just an impeccable timing and really good at outlet and passing the basketball. Very smart player and very unselfish player. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if anybody will ever do what he did in that one NCAA game. It was like ridiculous what he did, 22 for 25 or some stupid thing that he did. And he's a very interesting guy, interesting player. But I'm interested as to who you guys are playing on this weekend. What kind of team is it that you're going up against? So Cam, you should know these guys a little bit.
So
yeah,
I'm not as familiar with this team. We have not played them, I believe, prior. I looked this up last year. I don't remember ever facing this team, and I'm just not too familiar with the players. Okay. But I had one more question for you, a little about Bill. So through 74 through 1980, You had to face Bill Walton in the Western Conference. How many times did Bill block your shot?
Never.
I don't know. I never worry about that. So I mean,
And
I went up against guys that were, probably even better shot blockers than him. I mean, I played against Bill Russell and I played against Wilt Chamberlain and my old teammate Nate Thurman.
Wow.
They had a lot of guys that could block shots there, but Bill was great. I'll tell you the best Bill Walton story. So we're playing in the All-Star game in Atlanta, and we're doing something, talking about running a play. He comes back to the huddle when we come back to the huddle, and he comes to me and starts to say something to me about running the two-man game, right? And telling me what he wanted me to do. And I didn't say anything. And afterward, I got to know Bill really well after our careers were over. And he's a dear friend. I've gone on bicycle rides with him and all kinds of fun stuff. And I said to him, I said, Bill, I never told you this. I never said anything in the game in Atlanta, but I always remember that game in Atlanta. I said, the audacity of you were only like the first or second year in the league. And here you're coming up to me, and I think I ran the two-man game probably as well, or anybody ever ran it before. And you're coming up to me, I said, and telling me what I should be doing on the two-man game. And so I just let you say whatever you had to say, and I never said a word. But I'm telling you right now, you had a lot of balls coming up to me trying to tell me how to run the two-man
game. So I got a flip side of the question about how many times did Bill block your shot. What did you do to use your free throw ability to manipulate shot blockers like Bill Walton? Or Wilt, or Bill Russell, or Nate Thurman?
When I drove, here's the difference. See, LeBron James doesn't want to get fouled when he drives, okay? Because he's never been a great free throw shooter. LeBron has never shot 80% from the free throw line, so that's his Achilles heel. Thank God for that. God had to go ahead and take something away from him. But I made a big deal about how bad a shooter he was in the shooting form. He had horrible shooting form when he first came in the league. I can't believe the kid with that talent got all the way into the pros before anybody ever, well, even then they didn't do it until I made a big stink about it. I said, how the hell can you have this talent? This guy's got so much skill and ability, and you hit his the worst shooting form ever with his elbow out there freaking flying.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so he made a change. He's become a much better shooter, but he's never been an 80% free throw shooter. So God does that. He kind of equalizes things. Because Bill, I mean, I'm just telling you, LeBron James, if he had great shooting form, been ridiculous. I mean, it's already was. If I played against LeBron, I already told a bunch of players this. You force him out, overplay him, force him out outside the three-point line, and just back off him in his early part of his career. Just get off of him and say, hey, I'll give you you can shoot this shot a whole freaking day if you want. And if you can beat me doing that, I'm going to let you do it, and I'm not even going to guard you. But I'm not going to let you go by me and dunk. And then if he is going to the basket in close games, this is a statistic I don't think many people know. But LeBron James has missed more free throws, one of the top three in the league in number of missed free throws in the last 2 minutes of games. Wow. He's not a great free throw shooter by any stretch of the imagination.
Definitely not.
But a hell of a player. I mean, there's no question about that. But I tried. I wanted to get fouled.
Right.
Because I knew I'm gonna make some, and it was a chance for a 3-point play. So if I would hit, I was hoping. I was trying to draw body contact. I was not going out there trying to avoid contact. I wanted to get hit. And I got hit pretty hard back in those days. The fouls there were a little bit more physical than they were now.
Definitely.
The whole game was a lot more physical. But
yeah, I don't know how you average 35 in a league like that. I'm still mind blown.
Wait, Rick averaged 35?
Is this news to you?
That's new. I didn't hear that one. I heard about the free throw. I did not know he averaged 35.
Do you know the NBA leader in finals point averages? You know, LeBron averaged a triple-double in the finals, everything.
Yeah.
But if you look up who averaged the most points in the NBA Finals series, you're going to find Rick Barry on it.
Rick Barry.
Yep.
Wow.
Hey, listen, it's simple. You take enough shots, you can score.
That's the math right there.
I got it.
Here's the thing. You know what? I'll give you the breakdown to some people ask you about it. I said, look, how difficult is it to score 20 points? All right. So you play fast break basketball. So if you run the floor and you're smart, you should get at least 4 points on fast breaks. All right. That's 4. So I got 4. Work your ass off and try to get 1 offensive rebound and a putback. All right. I'm at 6.
Wow.
I'm going to drive to the basket, and I'm going to get to the basket, and I would get to the free throw line. Early in my career, I shot over 10 free throws a game. So I'm going to just make it and be conservative. So we already got 6 points, right? So let's just say, give me 6 points only. So I'm up to 12. I only have to make 4 shots in the game to score 20 points.
Wow.
So I mean, how difficult is that? It's not, and if I took 10 shots and only shot 40%, I'm at 20. So what's the big deal about scoring 20 points in a game?
You're right.
All right, you got to score 5 points a quarter if you want to score 20 points.
I mean, I just broke it down as how you get where you get points from, and then
Right.
if you make yourself the best free throw shooter, the other team's stupid and they get technical fouls. You always pick up maybe 1 or 2 technical fouls that you get also, which is another 3 points. But I mean, 20 points is not very difficult to do. I mean, it really isn't. Not in a 48-minute game. But you don't play. Hardly anybody plays 40 minutes anymore in the NBA. I mean, if a guy plays 36, 37 minutes, that's a lot. But I remember one season, I think in the ABA, I might have played 47 minutes a game or something. And a few other seasons, I know I played well over 40. But the thing is, I wanted to play this thing, load management, man. I can't relate to load management. I mean, I wanted to play. Shit, I didn't want to sit on the damn bench. I'm not hurt. If I'm not hurt, I'm not going to play. What?
Rick, one of my favorite stories about playing time ever from you was when you said you didn't like blowing teams out because that meant you couldn't play in the fourth quarter. That's when I knew you truly hated load management.
Top players are not. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a basketball player. I mean, I want to play. So anyway, but I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys do. CJ, I hope you guys just come out and make the commitment. That's the whole big thing. These last few days, you guys have some practices. Just get everybody to understand. Put your ego in the freaking closet. It's no longer about you anymore. It's about the zombies. Okay, so it's about playing committed team defense and not giving up easy baskets and making the other team work really hard for what they get and to play unselfishly. If you do that, then it's fun for everybody to play. It's fun for everybody to watch, and you're going to get a lot of victories.
Absolutely. I'm definitely telling them team on Friday. Gotta let them know. Put the egos in the closet.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's no longer, it's a team game, right? Like they say, there's no I in team, and that's true. And just, it's all about winning. You just go out and play. Like people say, I can tell you right now, I never went out ever. Can I ever remember to go out and say, man, I got to go try and get 40 tonight? No.
Okay.
I never thought about how many points I was going to score. In fact, Cam, when you brought up that stat for the finals, I had no idea about that. They bring up more statistical things now than I've ever seen in my life. We never paid any attention to it. What was it? A few weeks back and everything, I saw something was written up. Luka Doncic, now is now second in the history of the league to have scored 5 50-point games before he turned 24 years of age. Mm-hmm. And then I got to see the paper or the newspaper, whatever the hell it was, or online on the computer. And who was first? Me with 7. So. I mean, I had no idea that I had scored 50 points 7 times before I was 24 years old. What the hell? I never paid any attention to that garbage.
Yeah, it is a very arbitrary cherry-picked stat, but it does say something. It says, look at what the promise is and look at what he could develop into. And if he could develop into one of the greats and follow a Rick Barry trajectory, he's going to have a great career and a great life, and also, pass that down the way you are to the next generation and generations after.
Yeah, well, he's a hell of a player, Luka, but I mean, he's really good. And I love watching the Joker play. Jokic he's fun to watch. I like the Joker too. He's pretty damn amazing the way he plays the game. I mean, he's just
really good.
Very incredibly efficient, smart as hell. Really knows how to play the game. He's a fun guy. I mean, athletically, it's hard to go ahead and say somebody like Giannis for a big man. He's just like a freak athletically. And then, John Morant is crazy athleticism. I mean, oh my God, you see Mike get 28 points. What was it last night? 28 points in one quarter. Crazy stuff. I mean, with some just remarkable athletic moves. But there's a lot of really fun players to watch in the NBA now. But it's still about the team and how well you play as a team. My team, the Warriors, are hanging in there because they play such good, unselfish offense. I mean, shit, they lead the league in assists, and a lot of times they're getting 30 or more assists, which is great. But they can't guard a light post. I mean, it's ridiculous. They're one of the worst teams in the league, giving up points, and they'll never repeat as champions unless they make a drastic improvement in the last part of the season. There's never been a team that's won an NBA championship that was a bad defensive team. And you got to be somewhere in the top 10, I think, to win. I don't know if there's ever been a team outside of the top 10 defensively that's ever won an NBA championship. And it's the same thing for you guys in playing, in the Eastern League. You got to play defense. I mean, defense is what keeps you in the game when you're struggling. I always tell people, offense is like a roller coaster ride. You got the ups, the downs, the ups, the downs. But defense is the constant. That's like being on the salt flats in Utah, right. For the land speed record. It's flat. And you want to keep that level thing. You can keep it constant all the time defensively. That'll keep you in the ball game. So that's why that commitment has to be there. And then if your offense is going good and you're playing a good, consistent defense, you're going to win a lot of basketball games.
So, Rick, I got a question. Have you ever seen a Jokic before? Like another big that maybe even that you ran across in college or anything that just you never seen it before? Nobody knew how to exactly play it.
I've never seen anybody his size that could, shoot the ball from mid-range, shoot the ball inside, 3-point shooting. He shoots pretty well. Pass the ball like he passes the ball. He's a special player. He really is. I mean,
he is good.
Bill Walton was similar, but Bill Walton was as big as the Joker. I mean, size wise and body wise.
Timing, I think shot blocking is definitely
Bill couldn't shoot the threes. The only thing the Joker doesn't have is, he's not a great athlete, so he's not going to go out there and go block a whole bunch of shots for you.
Yeah. That's one thing Bill had over him for sure was the timing and the shot blocking.
Yeah. Well, I even heard somebody saying, I just have a hard time listening to the talking heads on TV, and the guy was talking, oh, yeah, well, hey, the great defender and doing stuff just like who is it, Perkins,
Kendrick Perkins.
Kendrick Perkins. Oh, he's the expert. Oh, my God. Kendrick Perkins talking about, blocking shots, knocking the shots in the stands and everything. Hey, take a lesson from Bill Russell. You don't block shots into the stands because the team gets the ball back again and they could score. Bill Russell would go up and just tick and flick the ball so he'd keep it alive so his team could get it and go down and score on a fast break opportunity. So this big thing, make it a big thing, and swatting the ball out of bounds and everything. Oh, yeah, it may look special and stuff, but all it does is give the team another possession to be able to score against you. Try to go ahead and just keep the ball alive by just flicking it if you're a great defender. It's not a matter of just swatting balls into the stands. That's not what it's about. Just like a great defensive guy named Derek Hancock played at Kansas, and I coached him in the minor leagues. And he was a terrific individual defender. But he was horrible team-wise. I said, Darren, you're killing us. I love your defense. I said, but you got to focus on playing team defense.
Right.
And I asked Jack Ramsey, this great Jack Ramsey, rest his soul. I said, Jack, I'll give you 12 players who are great individual defenders or 12 guys who are great team defenders. Which 12 do you want? He says, I want the team defenders. And I agree 100% because team defense prevents easy baskets and you do the smart things. You make it hard for the opposition. If you've got 12 great individual defenders, those guys are going to get beat a bunch of times by good players. And then there's never anybody there to help. So they're going to get all kinds of easy baskets. You don't want to give up easy baskets when you play the game of basketball. And it's not a complicated game. And if you understand the game properly and play it properly, it's a fun game to watch. It's a fun game to play. And you can make it difficult on the opposition. Defense doesn't win championships, but you can't win championships if you're not a good defensive team.
Absolutely.
Great point. Well, CJ, I got a quick 30-second rapid fire questions for you. So if you want to keep it short, sweet, and to the point, got some things lined up. So what is something that is always in your backpack or bag at the gym?
Probably my AirPods. Definitely need some headphones, listen to music and stuff.
Okay. What's your go-to meal? Like your favorite
go-to
thing?
Meal? Probably some pasta, some type of pasta. Shrimp scampi or like spaghetti or something. Yeah.
Is that also your pregame snack? Or
I think he's talking about his I think he's talking about his pregame meal.
Yeah.
I'll eat that before the game.
I want to know what's your go-to meal just when you want to have your favorite meal to eat. Forget the basketball.
Without going to the game or anything? Just
if you're gonna go pig out,
I'll probably say some salmon.
Some salmon? Okay.
Salmon, yeah.
Really?
All right.
Yeah.
I like that. So what I would say, this question, you almost answered it a little bit because that's just pulling salmon out is cool. But
Hey,
what
wait a
is
second.
something?
Hold on, hold on, Cam, before you go on.
Yeah.
If you're going to have the salmon, trust me, because I know you're up there in the Northeast. You want Pacific salmon, not Atlantic salmon.
Okay, I got it.
Much better. Pacific salmon. If you're going to get into Pacific salmon, and if you get, because I fish and catch salmon up in Alaska all the time
I
and
seen
everything.
you do fish.
Yeah, I do. I just got back from the Amazon jungle fishing for peacock bass. But yeah, you want to get Pacific salmon, and the best ones, silver salmon is good, but also um, king salmon people get, but that's it's really hard to get. I think silver is better. Silver is much more fun to catch, obviously, but sockeye is the one that probably is the best tasting salmon. Is sockeye salmon.
Okay, I'll definitely give it a chance.
Yeah, definitely do that, and but it's hard to get that because it's got to come all the way from Alaska all the way to the.
Yeah, it is hard. I know.
Yeah, so but if you're going to get lobsters, then obviously that's
I
you're
love
in the
lobster
great
as
place
well.
up there. Yeah, up in New England, that's the place where you want to get the lobsters, and then Alaska's got Alaska king crabs, and then Florida's got stone crabs. That's
Yep.
everybody's got their
I'm a big
places. But
seafood guy.
yeah, I
Big seafood guy.
really enjoy some good seafood, but if the salmon, if you don't, if it's cooked properly and doing stuff with flavor, my wife and I aren't huge fans of it, but you have to when you get done, and you got to take that skin off the bottom, and I always got to peel that brown little stuff that's on
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's got such a fishy taste to it; it just destroys the salmon. But it's
It
one of
does.
the healthiest food, one of the healthiest fishes you could ever eat.
Well,
Yeah.
all right, guys.
No,
Sunday
come on, give him
game time.
Hey, give him his other. Hey, you didn't finish. Give him the cue. Come on, you didn't finish up the questions. Come on.
Oh, all right. So, what's the best advice you got from a coach that you would share with